I'm back for another video. My name is Josh Kasich, and today is The Legend of Korra review. Now, The Legend of Korra is this box set, which is part of that box set with the first Avatar series in my last video I showed. This is the sequel series to Avatar the Last Airbender, and it follows a new Avatar, Korra. And this takes place years after the first series. Like Katara is probably or like 80s or so, 80s, 90s. She's a grandmother, and Zuko is also like old. And Toph is old. We know that Sokka and Aang are dead. Sokka didn't make it to this series, and Avatar Aang obviously had to die for Korra to be the new Avatar. So, I mean, that going in, you should already know that Aang is dead, if you would understand how the Avatar works. But the Avatar gets, obviously after one Avatar dies, the Avatar will regenerate, basically have a reincarnation to a new person. So this time it is Korra, and the pattern goes, so after air it'll be water, and then after water go to earth. So that would be the next, and then fire is again from, you had before Aang you had a fire Avatar. So that it's just that cycle how it goes. So Korra is a water bender first, but when she was young, unlike Aang, she was really talented with all the elements that Aang wasn't. And then she's not good with airbending, which was Aang's speciality or specialty. So it's kind of interesting how they did that. I mean, it makes sense, like it's a cool idea to have. Well, Aang was so good with with air, but not so good with the other three. I mean, he's talented, so he was able to eventually pick them all up. But and then they give it to the next Avatar, and she's good with the three elements that Aang wasn't, but air. It's like I said, it's a very interesting idea. So obviously, the first season was about Avatar trying to learn airbending, and then she really wanted to go to the city, this new Republic city that Aang and Zuko created, and she wanted to go there, but they wanted to protect her, and we find out later why in the third season. But it's kind of interesting where you had Korra does escape, and she meets some friends like Mako, Bolin, and Asami, and there's kind of a really hard relationship. Like Bolin first like Korra, but Korra falls in love with Bolin's brother Mako, or it's actually I think they pronounce it in the show Mako and sometimes Mako. It's really confusing. But the reason why his name is Mako is because the reason why he was named Mako because he's named after the actor who played Zuko's grandfather. What's his name? What was his? Not grandfather. Did I say grandfather? No, he's named after his uncle. I'm so stupid. Why did I say that? But where was I? No, he's named after the actor who played Zuko's uncle, because kind of, was it halfway through the series, or did he play for 3 seasons? I can't remember, but the Mako passed away, and he's a brilliant actor. Apparently, he's well known, and so this was kind of a tribute to him. I'm assuming, or I mean, it's kind of obvious, but that his name is pronounced Mako, but it was always kind of weird in the show because sometimes, most of the time, it's pronounced Mako, but I swear certain times they said Mako, so it's just kind of weird. But whatever, that's besides the point. And so Korra kind of falls in love with Mako, but then Mako was dating Asami, and then she kissed Mako, and this all kind of got confusing. And then Asami finds out, and their kind of relationship breaks down, and then he dates Korra, and then they kind of break up in the second season. So it was all kind of weird there, but they still all remain friends, and which is pretty cool. So now the big bad of the first season was a I forgot his name, but he wears a mask and he says he's not a bender, and the whole point is that the people, normal people, not benders or anything, feel inferior to the people who are benders. So his goal is, and his equalist was to take away people's bending so that everyone would be equal. We found out later that he's taking people's bending away not because he's granted this some mysterious power. He's doing it because he's a bloodbender, and that means he's not a non-bender. He's a bender, so he's lying to everyone about that he's not a bender. And because he's a bloodbender, he is also a waterbender, because waterbending comes first and bloodbending comes from waterbending. And it's really disgusting. It doesn't take the blood out of the body, but what it does is like it kind of controls the blood in the body to make it so that he can move the movements of someone, because he's pushing the blood in a certain spot to make the arms and body stuff to move. So it's basic. I think they also called it the puppet. They usually call someone who does that a puppet master. That was when bloodbending was first introduced in the Avatar series. That's what it was called. But that's what the person was called. It was just a lady. So we found out later that other people could use it. And then his brother, which we find out that he has, who's actually a leader of Republic City, is apparently also a bloodbender, and he gets in trouble. But at the end, basically, his brother did take his bending away, which is kind of interesting. But when the mask guy finally, it was lost, because he was able to take Korra's bending away, but that moment when he did that, she strengthened up and finally was able to airbend. So it's kind of interesting that she lost the ability of the three elements, but learned airbending finally, and that's how he defeated the mask guy. He was so confused of how that happened, but yeah, and he was exposed, and everyone knew that he is a liar and a fake, and that he's a bender. But he eventually rescues his brother that was put in a prison in the temple when the mask guy kind of took over the city, and they basically go on a boat and escape, and then his brother killed them by blowing up the boat. So yeah, they both died. Kind of interesting. And then Korra basically and all of them go to the Southern Water Tribe to see if Katara could heal her. She can't, and then she storms off, and then when they storm off, she gets greeted by the past avatars, because that's how it works. Like as the avatar goes on, she can communicate with the past avatars, her past selves, as they call it. So Aang and all the avatars help her help her get all her bending back, all the other three elements back. So now she's a full avatar again with all the four elements, and then she also learns how to do that for other people who lost their bending. So that's actually pretty cool. And then they finally make Mako and Korra finally confess their love for each other, and they get together. It's kind of how that ends. The second season is basically her uncle is a villain, and basically his whole point was that he wanted the these gates between the spirit world and the real world open up again, so that he can go find the original the basically it's a whole we get to find out the history of the Avatar, and we find out that the first Avatar became the Avatar through a powerful light spirit named Rava. Or is that the name of the other one? No, Rava is definitely the white one. Yeah, white. There's a light and darkness spirit, and basically the first Avatar, he actually released the evil one by accident, because the Rava and the evil one always fought to keep balance, right, between each other. And then he thought the dark one asked for his help, because he thought, oh, the dark one's being mistreated, which I think is stupid. If I see a light and dark, then I'm gonna assume the dark one's the evil one. I mean, but whatever. He released the dark one and then caused chaos. And so in order to stop this, first he already learned firebending because he was banned from his hometown. And so then no human has ever gotten the other four elements, so he had to get the other four elements through Rava, air, battling and stuff. And eventually they were they were on the brink of destruction from the dark spirit. And so what he did is he touched one of the gates, and they fused permanently, creating the Avatar, the first Avatar. And then basically they trapped the dark spirit in a tree, the Tree of Time. I think that's what it was called. So that's kind of the whole point of history there. And so the uncle wanted these spirit things so that he can fuse with the dark spirit to become a dark Avatar. And he does succeed, and he also he almost killed Rava. And this what happened because of that is that Korra lost the ability to communicate with the past avatars. She does get Rava back, and they refuse, and she does destroy her uncle in the fusion with the dark avatar, destroy the dark avatar. But she does get the avatar spirit back and the avatar state, but she can no longer communicate with past avatars. That's done, gone, and so the next avatar will only have Korra to communicate with. And she's not really good Avatar, just it's as you go on, she's not the best Avatar, and that's kind of the whole point with the first that's the second season there. And then the third season we find out why she was trying to be protected, because she was going to be kidnapped by these they call themselves the Red Lotus, which is supposed to be the opposite of the White Lotus, who were the good guys. And these guys want to destroy, want to have anarchy, destroy world leaders, and they do end up killing the Earth Queen. Actually, pretty graphically, in fact. So that's interesting. Probably the most graphic thing, and dark. Most graphic and dark. I wouldn't say graphic, maybe more dark is probably the better term for it. But definitely, it was basically Zahir is the leader of these four people who have each element. So his girlfriend, tall girl with kind of thing on her third eye that could blast fire. And then two friends, a waterbender who doesn't have any arms, but when she has water connected to them, she could bend with the water. And then a lava/earthbender. So they introduced lava bending. Bolin finally learns how to lava bend, so it's kind of interesting. But the whole point of this third season is also to rebuild the Air Nation, because Korra in the second season left the gates open for the spirits stuff to live with humans harmony when it was previously locked, and this caused a new what they called this was the convergence, and this event caused airbenders to be new people who couldn't airbend before have the ability to airbend. So one of Avatar's children, um, forgot his name, but he wasn't a bender, and then he became an airbender. His younger brother Tenzin, who was kind of this, who has a family of airbenders who've been teaching Korra how to airbend and all this stuff. So finally he's not the only one. Now they do have a sister, but she's a waterbender like their mother Katara. So that's interesting. But yeah, so here in these four trying to cause anarchy and try to find Korra to take her out so that the avatars won't ever reincarnate, and so they won't try to cause balance or order and all that stuff. But eventually all of them died except for Zahir. So that was kind of interesting. And Korra basically gets shaken by the end because she gets poisoned by Zahir and almost got killed or whatever, suffocated, just like the queen. And it was kind of interesting. The fourth season was her trying to recuperate from that, and to me it was just the worst season. I don't know, it was okay, but the first two seasons were really good. The third and fourth series they just dropped in writing. They weren't bad. They were just not as good as the first Avatar series and the first two seasons of Korra. So I do recommend watching the show, even despite those two seasons. But it's up to you. I still think the first Avatar is just 100% way better. Just for writing, action, and all that stuff, it's just way better. But yeah. So if I have to give it a score out of 1 out of 10, I would probably give it maybe a 7. I'd give it a 7. Yeah. It's the first two seasons are really good, and the third and fourth season aren't bad. They just isn't as good with writing, But that's just me. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like if you are new. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified from the next upload. My YouTube channel website link, as well as my Twitter, my Instagram, Snapchat are all in the description as always. And thank you. Goodbye.